Rogers TV Durham would like to acknowledge that we are on the treaty and traditional territory of the Mississaugas of Scugog Island First Nation of the Mississauga Nation. May we respectfully honor the knowledge and understanding of the Indigenous stewards of these ancestral lands and ensure that the voices of the First Peoples are represented in our collections, programs, and services.
The opinions expressed in the following programs are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect those of Rogers nor Rogers TV.
This program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Talk Politics. I'm Debra Hutchison. Our guest this week is Pickering Mayor Kevin Ashe. Been a while since we've spoken, and we have a long list of things to talk about. How have you been?
I'm doing great, Deborah. You're right. There's lots happening in Pickering, and I'm excited to talk about my city and the future.
Okay, let's start with, you know what I want to start with? I want to start with Frenchman's Bay. Frenchman's Bay is up for sale. What? I mean, who knew the Pickering didn't own Frenchman, the land there, or the bay, the water itself? What is going on?
Well, there's a long history there. It was issued to a private interest by charter by Queen Victoria 161 years ago. There's 130 acres of water in the bay and another 20 to 30 acres in Lake Ontario, as well as some land, the marina, the lake house, which is an event space owned by the Pickering Harbor Company. Mr. Huff, been a great business person in our city, now 80 years old, and wants to, sell his major asset. And I talked about this during the election campaign, and I am happy to tell you that's one of the few things my council completely agrees with me on, 7-0, that the bay should be in public ownership. So we've began a process to hopefully get the bay back. And although it hasn't been in public ownership before Canada was Canada. So I'm hopeful that we can come to an agreement on price and that we can partner with our federal government as well as our provincial government, hopefully on a one-third basis. I got to tell you, MP O'Connell, who used to be on city council and was a strong advocate for the waterfront, is completely on side, as is Minister Bethenfalvy, who happens to be the Minister of Finance. So I've got his ear as well. So I'm very hopeful that over the course of the next month or two, we'll be able to negotiate some type of agreement. And I'm hopeful that we're doing this not hopeful, we are doing it to protect the bay, to keep it open space, to make sure it's available for people and boats and have access year round. So I'm excited about this opportunity.
Yeah, because if it ends up in private hands, all that work that the city has done to make the waterfront the beautiful gathering space that it is, might be for naught. Yeah,
I mean, the charter that the Queen Victoria, again, this is amazing that we're talking about Queen Victoria and the powers that she granted, but it does give some, arguably some unbelievable powers to the charter holder that may not require municipal approval. So that's another reason why we want to get the charter back and protect the interest. There was proposal for a condo down there. It was turned down by council.
Right.
So that's on the same lands that would potentially become back into public ownership. So.
Okay, now on sticking with land issues, let's talk about green space. the provincial government's change of heart, changing back its plans with designated green space for housing, and then no, it's back to green space. I mean, at one point, the premier applauded Pickering for how quickly you moved on the plans for housing on what was green space. Now it's back to being green space. And Pickering wants money back from the province.
Yeah, the government made their announcement about a year ago, right after the municipal election, about their desire. And I shared their desire to, we do have a housing crisis, to build more homes faster. And their goal is to build 1.5 million homes over the course of the next 10 years. And they identified the Cherrywood community, which is in kind of central Pickering on the west side of it at the Scarborough and York Region border, up Altona Road, that kind of area. They identified Cherrywood to develop about 30,000 homes, 70,000 people. And we were well on our way to getting a deal done in regards to community benefits. And we were working collaboratively and in good faith with the province, and really at their direction. And we spent about, we spent $360,000 of staff time as well as outside consultants. And we have asked the province for that money back. We did it again at their direction and in good faith. And we're hopeful that we'll get that a favorable response from the minister. And the government made the decision to return lands to the Green Belt. And we're quite comfortable with that decision. There was a lost opportunity, though, about $800 million worth of infrastructure, 30-acre land set aside for a healthcare facility, 15 acres for a secondary school, post-secondary school, 40 parks, a rec center, a library, et cetera, all paid for by the landowners rather than the taxpayers. So it is lost opportunity, but we certainly heard that it was a controversial public policy decision about developing on the Greenbelt, and we're fine with the government's decision to return those lands to the Greenbelt. But we think, based on our good faith work on it, $360,000 should be reimbursed to the taxpayers of the city of Pickering.
Yeah, that's definitely not pocket change, shall we say? No,
and again, it's not like we went out on our own. We were working collaboratively with them to finalize the community host community benefits, as well as working with them in regards to the planning with the landowners. So I'm hopeful there'll be a favorable response from the government.
Okay. Speaking of the provincial government, you will also be delegating at MPP Bethlehem Falvey's community budget consultation. What's your message for the provincial government there?
Pickering and Durham are growing, and we need enhanced infrastructure, especially for transit as well as our highway corridors. And I'll be advocating, and it was announced in MPP Bethlehem Falvey's economic update, which happened during the week of October 30th, that they are going to commit to a number of initiatives that are important to Pickering. So I'm going to reiterate them. And that's a widening of Highway 401. The widening of Highway 7, I think, was also important because it goes down to 2 lanes for a lot of the highway system across the Pickering. And we're also looking at the connection of Steeles and Taunton Road to double it so there's not the pitch point as it enters Markham and Scarborough. So those are a couple of the initiatives that I'll be talking to. And I'm hopeful as we turn the page on the fall economic statement that we begin in earnest a dialogue about a new deal for municipalities. when we talk about the budget that'll be happening in 2024. And Minister Bethlen Falvey always has an open mind and ears to our ideas, and I'm glad it's going to be done in a public forum next Friday, the 11th, 10th, I guess, and I'm looking forward to it.
Talk to me about the relationship that you have with your provincial and your federal counterparts. I don't think a lot of people realize just how much consultation, how many meetings, how much dialogue there is between the three levels of government.
Well, certainly there's more with the provincial government because they're in essence the people that we report to the Municipal Act, the Planning Act is all done at the provincial level. Although, you know, more and more ideas that come from the federal government are impacting the city, immigration, refugees, criminal matters, bail, carbon tax are all federal matters. So again, MP O'Connell is a former councillor, a former colleague of mine, and you know, we have a good working relationship. And Minister Bethlen Falvey is a real champion for Pickering Uxbridge, and have an ongoing dialogue with him on important matters that are of shared interest. So there is a lot of collaboration. I think that's good that we are working together. Not all mayors can say that. And it's also important to realize that one is from the Liberal Party and one is from the Conservative Party. And it's important that we put aside partisan interest and work towards what's best for our joint residents. And I think MP O'Connell, MPP Bethlen Falvey, and the city and my council have done that, and I think we're going to reap the rewards because of it.
Maybe a federal issue, maybe a provincial issue, but when you really think about it, eventually it all trickles down to the municipal, does it not?
Absolutely true. People don't realize the municipal government impacts your daily life much more directly than the federal government and the provincial government. You know, where the stop sign is, where the grocery store is, what the speed limit is, are all municipal issues, all that kind of stuff. So you're quite correct, Debra. Municipality is where the rubber hits the road in terms of rules and impact on life, and I welcome that responsibility.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there. We're going to take a quick break. We are in conversation this week with Pickering Mayor Kevin Ashe. Don't go away.
Paradise!
Thursdays on City TV.
I'm feeling anxious, a little nervous.
Tanner's so hot.
He's cute.
He is really cute.
It's hot. Everyone's coupled up. Damn.
I'm not trying to betray you.
She took a big-ass samurai sword and just drove it through my heart.
That is some immature seriously.
I mean, that's paradise, you know?
Bachelor in Paradise. All new. Thursdays, 9, 8 central on City TV. Or stream it on City TV Plus.
Two huge stops from Jacob Oster. Richie has Roderick with them. Roderick, score!
The OHL on Rogers TV.
What a finish!
Lovely viewers, it's your host of On the Couch, Antoine El Hashim, reminding you to tune in for every episode of Season 9 of the longest running and most loved local queer talk show on Rogers TV. Check it out.
You're watching Rogers TV.
And welcome back to Talk Politics. We are in conversation with this week with Pickering Mayor Kevin Ashe. I want to ask you about you recently made a statement on universal change rooms at the Chestnut Hill Developments Recreation Complex in regards to recent concerns surrounding these change rooms, which you say has given rise to fears, misunderstandings, What's going on? What's the issue as you see it?
One of our councillors, Councillor Robinson, has been sanctioned on 2 occasions by the Integrity Commissioner. The most recent infraction was in regards to her public comments in regards to pride flag, gender neutral change stations, as well as I'm forgetting what the third one is, but anyway, in regards to the Chestnut Hill, she doubled down in regards to her opposition to them. So I wanted to give some clarity to the issue about why we do it, being an inclusive community and having protection, safety for residents. Councillor Robinson talked about, the ability to look over and look under. The reality is there's 6 inches at the bottom of each door. You can't get through them. You'd have to be minute goal at 7'8" to be able to see over them. So it leads to some misinformation. And she also talked about predators and people being unsafe in them, and that's simply not the case. The design is what is happening around the world. It was designed after we had input from our stakeholders. It recognizes the need for families to be there together. People with different gender identities use the same change room. Again, they're individual stalls. And then people with accessibility and that might have some accessibility issues are also there. So they often need an aide who could be of the opposite sex. So that's we wanted to clear that up and indicate that there's been no known instance of any type of inappropriate stalking or viewing or anything like that. So it was reiterated by Councillor Robinson. It simply is not correct. And that's why I went to the length of issuing a statement to give some clarity to the issue.
You had a rather contentious meeting a couple of weeks ago. And if I recall right, during that meeting, Councillor Robinson said that she's been misquoted. Did she not?
I'm not sure if she said she's misquoted. The Integrity Commissioner has found, and if I quote, I'll quote what the Integrity Commissioner found. For the above reasons, we find the councillor has promoted attitudes which are homophobic and transphobic, fail to recognize the diversity of the community, failed to protect the dignity of individuals, and attempted to bring forward motions which would not, in our view, withstand scrutiny under the Ontario Human Rights Code. I don't think Councillor Robinson has changed her views on those items about the pride flag and the change room. As an example, she's actually doubled down when she's talking to the Integrity Commissioner. So the sanction for this contravention was recommended 60-day suspension of pay. And the council unanimously accepted the recommendation of the Integrity Commissioner. I understand that that's not a pleasant outcome for Councillor Robinson, but words do have consequences. I would again urge her to be more thoughtful about how they impact people, and words matter. You're in the communication business, you understand that words matter. And we want to be an inclusive, we're a very diverse community, and we're also a very inclusive community. And we want to be welcoming to all members of our community. So it was a very contentious meeting, most contentious meeting I've been at, because there was her supporters not acting appropriately in a public forum.
How so were they not acting appropriately?
They were heckling. They were standing up and demanding to speak. after their delegation period was over. They were threatening to people, and the police were there as well and cleared the gallery. First time in my 16 years on council and 12, plus 12 more years at the school board that's ever happened. So
how were they threatening people?
Just by the yelling, the physical presence. One individual followed one of the councillors into a private area. It was very unnerving, to the point that we've developed some new practices for the future. And we unfortunately this day and age we have security now at council meetings, which it's mind-boggling that that's required. But that's the Trumpism of the dialogue that we have in our public forums now, and I don't think that's helpful. The council chamber should be a place that's respectful, safe, and have meaningful dialogue. And that's certainly not what did not occur last Monday.
Now, clearly, Councillor Robinson sees things differently. And to be fair, she has gone on record as saying that she's adamant that she is not homophobic. She is bringing concerns to council that others have expressed to her. When you have such differing opinions and you've had such a contentious meeting, how do you bring council back together to work together? Because she is an elected official and she's not going anywhere.
Yeah, and I respect her role. I sat in it, this very same role for a number of years. So I don't accept the fact that, however, I don't accept the fact that she's speaking on behalf of her constituents. I've had the privilege of being elected for 16 years, and I've never had anyone express concern about change rooms or flying any type of flag, let alone the pride flag. I think she speaks to a very vocal but slim minority of people that are outside the mainstream, and I don't think it's helpful that after an integrity commissioner makes a finding that you continue to double down. And the way that we work here at City Hall is to work collaboratively. And if you don't have a seconder for your motion, that means it's not going to pass. So move on to your next issue. And Councillor Robinson's having difficulty in turning the page. Having said that, I have an open door. I'm happy to re-engage and work collaboratively with her, and look after the best interests of the taxpayers and the residents of the city.
Okay, let's move on. I want to ask you about your upcoming Mayor's Gala. Let's get some details. There are a whole list of community groups that will benefit from this great event.
It's been a great tradition that Mayor Ryan started, and I'm honored to continue. We're going to a new venue this year, the Pickering Resort Casino, where Brian Adams played earlier this year and Jan Arden, so we have a little bit more capacity. So we're going to make this a bigger fundraiser, and we're doing it it's called Hail to the Heroes, so we're honoring our first responders. So the chiefs and the union presidents of Pickering Fire, Durham Police, as well as Durham Paramedics will be our honored guests. The money will be going to mental health supports at Lakeridge Health, Ajax Pickering, also to Wounded Warriors, to the Carrie and Fenn Foundation for mental health chats, as well as to the two legions here in Pickering, branch 606, as well as the branch in Claremont. So we're excited about how this is going to happen. I'm a bit biased, but I think it's the best fundraising gala in the region. There'll be some other mayors there as my guests too. So hopefully they'll have a similar conclusion after the events of November 17th. So we're really excited about this. And we've got tremendous support from the business community in regards to this initiative. And I'm very thankful to Triple Properties and Durham Live and FGF Foods, which is relocating to Pickering as being our premier sponsor. So it's going to be a great night, and some worthwhile charities will be getting significant money. So I'm looking forward to it.
How much money are you hoping to raise, Kevin?
I would think we're getting between $400,000 and $500,000 in net profit. So it's going to be a significant night.
That will benefit so many. I have to ask you, how did you go about choosing which charities will benefit? How was the decision made?
Well, many know of our personal situation of Karen and I. We lost our son, Alex, to suicide on April 1st, 2018. So we continue the conversation and continue his story. And we say it's okay to be not okay. So when Lakeridge Health, which is always the chief benefactor of the Gala funds, came to me with an idea to house the new mental health at the Jerry Coughlin Center located in Pickering, I jumped at that opportunity. As well, Wounded Warriors do great support for our first responders and our military in regards to mental health. And it's something that Karen and I are delighted to support. And it's something that we're not going to stop talking about. Mental health is real, and it affects a lot of us. And we got to keep that conversation going and end the stigma about mental health. As I say to people, Debra, we're quite comfortable in saying, my dad has cancer and he's fighting it. We don't have the same comfort in saying my dad is suffering from depression or mental health issues. And we have to bring those barriers down, and because mental health is just as debilitating, and it's important to keep that conversation going.
Okay, and on that, we are out of time. Pickering Mayor Kevin Ashe, thanks so much for your time.
Thanks, Debra. I always appreciate the opportunity, and hopefully we'll get together in the studio again at some point.
That's the plan, sir. And thanks to our viewers. Until next time, bye for now.
Call the Rogers TV viewer response line. Email us or connect with us on social media.
We were born in Canada. We spoke English. On the streets, we weren't welcome. But on the field, we were the Asahi. Vancouver's champions. Everyone cheered for us. Our people had a voice. Then Canada declared war on Japan. They took us from our homes, called us enemies, forced us into camps. But we brought the game with us. Baseball helped get us through the internment.
The Vancouver Asahi were among the 22,000 Japanese Canadians interned during the Second World War. The team never played another game.
This is a man's heart, a heart in desperate need of medical attention. But because 78% of Indigenous people experience racism,